Breaking. ABC anchor suspended after. Leaked off-air comment about Coco Gauff. Sparks public outrage. It began on a Tuesday morning. The kind of morning where the world still felt normal, where headlines were predictable and politics filled the airwaves. Then just before noon, the story broke. Breaking ABC. Anchor suspended after leaked off-air. Comment about Coco Gauff sparks public outrage. The headline hit like lightning. Within minutes, Twitter, or X, as it had been rebranded, exploded. Hashtags trended globally. Sports. Journalists scrambled for details. Fans flooded social media with fury and heartbreak. And in the middle of it all stood Coco Gauff, the 21-year-old tennis sensation who had already become more than an athlete, more than a champion. She was a symbol of grace, of power, of the new generation that refused to stay silent. But this story wasn't about tennis. It was about truth, respect, and the world's hunger for accountability. The leak, the video surfaced on anonymous Reddit account titled at Truth Served 2025. It was a 37 SE. Second Dawn clip, grainy but audible, recorded during a commercial break on ABC's flagship morning program, World. Morning Now. The anchor, Ethan Price, had been with the network for nearly 2 decades. Polished, articulate, admired, a man whose voice had narrated everything from elections to humanitarian crisis. But in this clip, caught off guard and unaware as Mike was, still live, he said words that would change his career forever. He laughed, shaking his head, and muttered to his co-anchor, "You know, for someone so young, Coco sure acts like she's saving the world. It's just tennis, not a revolution." His co-host gave an awkward chuckle. The clip ended abruptly, and within an hour it had been shared 12 million times. The reaction was immediate, volcanic, and deeply personal. Tennis fans, athletes, and civil rights advocates called it disrespectful, tone-deaf, and steeped in condescension. For many, the issue wasn't the words alone. It was the tone, the casual dismissal, the insinuation that a young black woman couldn't lead, couldn't inspire, couldn't carry meaning beyond her sport. Social media erupted with posts like Coco Gauff is saving the world. One voice, one victory, one message at a time. If confidence in a young woman threatens you, maybe you're the problem. This isn't about tennis. It's about respect. Within 24 hours, hashtag Stan would have become the #1 trending hashtag globally. Sponsors began issuing statements of support. The WTA released a message emphasizing its zero tolerance for disrespect toward athletes. And ABC, a network already under scrutiny for internal cultural issues, was forced to respond. The suspension by Wednesday afternoon, ABC News President Dana Whitmore made it official, effective immediately. Ethan Price has been suspended pending internal investigation into his off-air remarks concerning Coco Gauff. ABC holds itself to the highest standard of professionalism and inclusivity. The newsroom fell silent as the internal memo circulated. Price's chair was empty during the evening broadcast. His social media accounts went dark, but outside, the debate only grew louder. Some defended him, arguing that it was a private comment taken out of context. Others saw as a symptom of a deeper, long-ignored bias in media. And in that swirl of chaos, one person remained, remarkably silent. Coco got off herself. Coco was in Shanghai preparing for her semifinal match at the Wuhan Masters. When the news broke, her phone buzzed. Nonstop calls from her agent, her PR team, even her grandmother. But she didn't respond. Not yet. Her longtime coach, Jean-Pierre Leva, found her sitting by the hotel window, headphones in, eyes distant. "You okay, Coco?" he asked softly. She nodded, expression unreadable. "Yeah, I'm just thinking. It's crazy how quick people can show who they really are." He sighed. "Do you want to respond?" She looked down at her phone, at the millions of mentions, the hashtags, the headlines screaming her name. Then she smiled faintly. "Not yet. The court will be my reply." And she went to sleep early that night, not angry, but resolute, the match that moved the world. The next evening, Coco stepped onto court in Wuhan to play her semifinal. The stand were full, the air thick with anticipation. Cameras zoomed in on her as she adjusted her visor, expression calm, unshaken. Commentators spoke cautiously, weaving between tennis and tension. "It's been a heavy 48 hours for Coco Gauff, but she looks locked in." She didn't need to speak. Her racket did. It for her. Every forehand screamed defiance. Every serve was a decoration. Every sprint to the net was her way of saying, "I'm still here." The crowd began chanting her name. Even her opponent, Elena Rykina, applauded after. One impossible backhand cross-court winner. In just 78 minutes, Coco sealed. Victory 6-2, 6-3. The final word. Nearly a year later, Coco was invited to speak at the United Nations Youth Forum in Geneva. The topic, athletes and social responsibility in the modern era. She stood at the podium, the room filled with diplomats, activists, and journalists. Her voice was calm, her words deliberate. People once said, "It's just tennis." But nothing is just anything when people are watching, when young girls are learning what's possible, when someone's courage can inspire someone else's freedom. I don't want to be remembered for wins or losses. I want to be remembered for what I stood for, even when it was uncomfortable. Thunderous applause followed. Delegates rose to their feet. And in that moment, the world understood. Coco Gauff was not just an athlete. She was a movement. Epilogue, the power of words. The story of Ethan Price and Coco Gauff will be dissected for years in media ethics classes, sports, documentaries, and think pieces. Some would say it was a cautionary tale about microphones and mistakes. Others would say it was about racism, respect, and responsibility. But for most, it became something deeper, a story about how words once spoken can either destroy or awaken, because one man's carelessness had revealed another's courage. And from that moment forward, the world never looked at Coco Gauff the same way again. The legacy by 2030, Coco's influence extended far beyond tennis. She had her own foundation, Rise Anyway, supporting education and empowerment programs for girls worldwide. Her book, Dessert, Beyond the Court, became a bestseller. In it, she wrote, "The greatest test of character isn't when the world praises you, it's when it questions your worth. That's when you must stand tall and say, 'I am enough.'" Her message traveled across oceans, languages, and generations. And somewhere, perhaps in quiet reflection, Ethan Price watched from afar, understanding finally that his mistake had done something rare. It had awakened the world to a truth it needed to hear. The last scene, one autumn afternoon, Coco returned to her childhood tennis court in Delray Beach, the same cracked surface where her father first taught her how to serve. She placed a racket down, looked at the sky, and whispered, "We rise anyway." Then she smiled, not out of fiancé this time, but peace, because she knew words. Who wound, yes, but they could also heal. And in the echo of her journey, the world had learned how to listen. Again, thank you for watching. Please, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like, and share.